Say Jasi, eye watu mkwara, iradi na wayama miso. Ena miridi wasenako, beto jumna mabo samrani. Jasi, eye watu mkwara, iradi na wayama miso. Ena miridi wasenako, beto jumna mabo samrani. Yami wobiara, eye wadu tina mida sotasi. Ena miridi wasenako, beto jumna mabo samrani. Yami wobiara, eye wadu tina mida sotasi. Ena miridi wasenako, beto jumna mabo samrani. Titasi, Ayawatum Para, Iradi, Nawayamamiso, Menabili, Wasenako, Petsochum Namabo Samrani, Titasi, Ayawatum Para, Iradi, Nawayamamiso, Menabili, Wasenako, Petsochum Namabo Samrani,
Moto near there. AY moto and a Pathfinder's moto. What is it? Any Pathfinders be our. For the love of Christ constraineth us. Christo donon share. Christo donon ti and our person will call prison ministry. Or dona ewo wakumamuno. The love in your heart, the Christ in your heart. The Christ now with me di kofi no. The Christ now with the bar sorry no. That Christ now with the as a prison home. Until you have some desire, you have some drive to go and deliver to people who need you. And there were three main objectives. My mission is to support families. So we join ministry we will support families who have their children or their wives or their husbands in prison. You won't believe it. SDF will be prison. Young Kunu were prison. Young man be were prison. I saw him be a corner and saying, "Your point a woman back up and home catch us a Mikunu prison." Namra Mikunu ko prison. I saw him no a yamiama. Men and I yes about school superintendent. But nobody talks to me. Since Mikunu Koda, it is said the men I'm here, a bonnier for was Susin Yasim Bonnier Fonina. Nobody talks to me. Nobody comes to ask me, how are you doing? The church hasn't even asked me whether I'm paying my rent, I'm eating, feeding my children, or not. Nobody cares. Another woman said to me, I have to tell my church my son is in university. Meanwhile, the son is in prison. I went to see the son in prison. But the church thinks that the son is in university. Another one told me, she's told the church her son is gone to Caribbean, gone to Jamaica. Because the stigma that the church will place on her, she can't bear it. And so she has to tell a lie to the church just to protect her own dignity. This is Adventism. We are holier than thou. Everyone here is holy. But you know, the difference between you and the person in prison is that you are not caught. Yeah? You are not caught and they are caught. We all have our own issues. You, in one way or the other, you have done some wrong that should land you in prison. But you are only sitting here today because you didn't get caught. And so we should always remember that the person behind the bars is not worse than you. And there is a need for us as a church to see them. And we are not only seeing those people in prison, but we need to care for those who are sitting here with us today in our church. I know, or I will be very sure, for the size of London Ghana Church, there will be someone sitting here today whose family member or friend or relatives are one way or the other in prison. And I will ask this church and the pastors of this church and the board of this church, do you have any budget for prison ministries? Do you? Board members who are here, do you have any budget for prison ministries? Do you have any budget to support people whose relatives are in prison? Do you have any budget of buying books to send to prison? No, we don't. Why? Because it's not part of our business, is it? And kind of plan. You see, I'm a catcher who was the last Sunday, and I'm in Bedford. In the last few weeks, my visited prisons were 5. Now, okay, Omwa, a bass sorry, no basum. Ya sorry, no, Omwa betina say, a tear in Yamisum. Now, your point, and Omwa so for Bompire Mine. I see that place as evangelistic field, more evangelistic field than anywhere. Here, the people are in their homes. They are comfortable. They may not even have problems. Until they see you coming here every Saturday. And sometimes they are not even happy with you. If you go to knock their doors, oh, I don't want to talk. You take my car park space, you take my parking space, and you make all sorts of noise here every Saturday. Why do I listen to you? I don't really. This is the community that you will struggle because you don't even have anything for the community. But those people in prison, they are ready. They are ready to listen to you. But we don't have any plans for them. And the first objective is to support families of prisoners through holistic care. What is holistic care? And that is why I was telling you, the church needs to have a plan in place and a budget in place. If one of us is struggling, have a relative in prison, let's go and see them. You don't only go to visit people of your own relative. Go to see people who you don't even know. About 3 weeks ago, now we were in Brazil. A group of us went to Brazil to visit, some prisons. We acquired a Brazil team, a team up. So you have a ministry in prison. Brazil prisons are huge. You know, in South America, the drug cartels and what have you, crime is really high. But when we went to prison to preach the gospel, I was blown. I could not comprehend the reception that the prisoners gave us. In fact, the people in the prisons in the UK are in hotels as compared to those even in Brazil. When we were preaching to them, because of their rules, they have to sit on the ground, on the floor, with their hands on their knees and their backs facing us. They cannot look at us. This is how bad, this is how horrible they treat them. But do you know one interesting thing? The Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Brazilian prisons don't have chaplains in prisons. But the Seventh-day Adventist Church with AGYARE has joined forces with the government authorities. And see, yeah, call Brazil, no, Ministry of Defense office. We went to Ministry of Defense to meet the team there, and for the first time, I was in a military escort. Yeah, I was more than a prime minister. We had escort, the army with guns and everything ahead of us and behind us, taking us to one of their top prisons. And do you know what we found there? The prisoners, when you preach, they clap, they jump, they cry, and they want to know more. The prison ministries director and the AGYARE director was an ex-prisoner. He was a drug cartel leader in the community. He's been giving people guns and drugs to kill people on the street. This is his own words. But now, the church has employed him to be prison ministries director and AGYARE director. He's doing amazing work. He's employed a lot of volunteers. They go to prisons and they preach the word. And do you know why he's so enthusiastic? Because someone preached to him. Do you know one prison officer who was given patriarchs and prophets by an Adventist volunteer? He gave the book to this prisoner as a punishment. Two options. Either you read this book or you go in isolation so you can calm down. And the officer gave him patriarchs and prophets, and he sat down and he never got up. He read the book, continued to read the book, and the officer said, "Give me my book." He said, "No, I can't give you this book. It's too good." The officer said, "Give me my book." He said, "No. You bring me another one, then I'll give you this." And he kept reading and reading and reading. And the officer eventually took the book away from him. But when he left prison, he was looking for that book. That book that I was reading in prison, I have never read any book like it. And one day he found himself in Adventist church because someone told him that book is for this church. He went. And the miracle that took place there, you won't believe it. One of his boys, who was the gang leader, apart from him, who he sent across to direct and control affairs, that boy was the one preaching that day in that church. And he looked at that boy and said, "You preaching? No chance." That boy of his finished his sentence in prison because he was preached to by Adventists. He went to Argentina to train as a pastor. Came back to Brazil, preaching his first sermon in Brazil, and that was when his boss met him. And he said to his boy, "You will be the one to baptize me." His boy baptized him and he said, "I was your boss, but now you are my boss." You see how God works? God works in mysterious ways. You never know who you are going to meet in prison and what that person is going to become. But all you need to do is to go out there. You may only give someone a book and you don't know what that book will do. The next point. I want to register as many churches in the UK as possible, especially South England Conference. There is something we call Welcome Directory. The Welcome Directory is a directory that when prisoners are leaving prison, chaplain no be catch them almost say, "Upia, sorry we are willing to have you. Sorry we are willing to have you. And this church is willing to have you." So Google says now here churches on the Welcome Directory in your area. you will see no Adventist church. But you will see, hey, boy. But you will see Baptist church, Catholic church, Methodist church. With a radius of 1 mile, you see many churches registered there. But you won't see Adventist church. Because it's not a priority. We don't care about those behind bars. We don't want to go there. We are too good for them. Aren't we? Say, yeah, Papa say, oh, manambwa. Yes. Why should I? No. So one of my aim is that every board of our churches in the whole UK, just guess how many Adventist churches are on this register. I want some guesses. Just guess. 4, 5, 10. Someone said 2. Who said 2? We have only 2. The whole UK. We have Croydon Church and Camp Hill Church in Birmingham. These are the only 2 churches on the register. So anyone coming from prison who probably have met Adventists in prison and want to come to Adventist church when they are out of prison, the whole of London, only Croydon is on the register. And for instance, if they are sent to Tottenham, do you think they will have money to travel all the way to Croydon? They won't. They will rather go to the Baptist church next door and get whatever help there is. And so I am encouraging every board of every Seventh-day Adventist church to register on the Welcome Directory. It is important. So we'll be free prison in bar. You know, we call Bedford, Mishia Ghana and Koda 4 out of the 60 people that came to worship. 4 Ghanaians. 2 Adventists. 2 Adventists. Let me ask you one question. What type of crime do you think takes Adventists into prison? Top crime that takes Adventists into prison. Were you going to say something? Okay.
Safeguard. Maybe it's adult molesting
offenses. Fraud. Knife crime. Abuse. The number of Adventists we have in prison and the crime that took them to prison is sexual offenses. That's number 1. You see your faces. You are shocked. But that is it. That is the top crime within the Adventist community. Not many Adventists are in prison, but if you look at the numbers that are in prison, the top crime that took them there is sexual offenses. You see how surprised you are? You don't know. But that is it. We don't do knife crimes. We don't do armed robbery. We don't do those things. But the top, sexual offenses. You know, one thing within our culture, especially the Ghanaian culture, and even not just the Ghanaian, recently you have the safeguarding issue that came of sexual offense, that gentleman who died, that actually woke everyone up in the Adventist community. Is that sometimes the board is trying to cover up things protect members, and because they have said, but you forget, say, the person who's been abused is still carrying that trauma. And it's going to be carried, it's going to be with them for the rest of their lives. But the person the perpetrator is walking free because he said, I won't do it again. But how do we know that it's not going to happen again? And so as a church, we need to put things in place and we need to sit up. I'm telling every church that I go to, when it happens, boys, girls, men, women, when someone is inappropriate towards you, you need to talk about it. You need to report it. If they don't come back to you again, they will do it to someone else. Bring it to the attention of the minister. Safeguarding lead. Bring it out. Because that is our problem. So, let's have this on our books. When you go to a board meeting and the minister is not agreeing to prison ministry budget, please let me know. And I'll have a word with that pastor. Because we need to wake up as Adventists, and we need to have teams in every church. Even if you think you are afraid you don't want to go to prison, you sit in the church at least once a week. Just put it on a notice, put it by the fence, and say, once a week, come here. I will help you prepare your CVs. I will help you find accommodation. I will help you. If you feel uncomfortable doing anything, come. I will teach you how to cook. Recently, Lewisham Church was approached by 10 prisoners who were looking for a place to worship, place to have an evening prayer meeting, because they've been having it in prison and they are out and they wanted to continue having it, and so they needed a place. Your church can be a place that people can come to. London, Ghana is full every Sabbath, but within the week, there's not much happening here. There's not much happening here. People can come here. If they are not using this place, they use that place. And one or two people who have an hour or two within the week, just come here and sit here. You will see how many people will come here. Just put a notice out there. You see how many people will come and see you here. And so today I'm encouraging, at least by the time I leave here, we have a prison ministries team in this church. I was hoping for people to say something. So you heard me. There was no confidence in that amen you said. Yeah. I didn't think people heard me, but people heard me. So we're going to have it. The next point, this is basically the summary of my presentation. I have a long presentation, but I don't think I will give you time so that we can ask questions. Okay. So I've spoken to supporting and visiting prisoners, providing pastoral care and spiritual development. This is the third part of the ministry. If we can cover these three areas as a church, your church has a solid foundation. You're not only looking after those in prison, you're looking after your own church. Because if you have plan in place, a prison ministries team in place, when you have an ex-offender come into your church, you already have a team that will look after them. You have no fear, this person has been into prison, so let's keep an eye on them. Yes, you keep an eye on them, but you have a team that will work with them. And that team needs to be trained. And so in May, most of you have seen the adverts going around. In May, I'm organizing a training convention for all prison ministries volunteers. I have invited chaplains, about 4 chaplains from UK prisons. I have invited a chaplain from California, one of the biggest Californian prisons managed by an Adventist chaplain. He's coming here. I have invited an NAD APMA, that's Alliance of Prison Ministries in North America, to come and help us. I've invited a chaplain, a prison ministry chaplain. The prison we visited in Ho, the chaplain over there is coming here to help. And so I have invited the Welcome Directory, the lead, the manager for Welcome Directory. She is coming to present workshops during this during this training. And I don't want to leave you people out. Auntie Esther is doing the cooking for the event. And that's London, Ghana. Your member is doing the cooking. And I want as many as possible from this church to register for that project, or for that program. And what I plan to do is to find a prison nearer to your church and probably include your pastor. Usually what I've been doing is when I visit the prison, I link a pastor to the prison, and then the team from the church will follow later. Maybe if you have the chance to conduct a Sunday service or Saturday service, a group from here will go and deliver that service. I will stop here. I have further things to talk about, but I will stop here. I want to hear more from you as a church.
Pastor AGYARE, God bless you. When you team with your more I think this is one of the key commissioners around the There's a church in New York, Brooklyn Tabernacle, almost similar structure. I don't know, say what your mom can. And the way I manage effective, they are walking about the welcome register. That's what they do. So they've got different cells to deal with. In the inner city. Until they deal with prostitutes, they deal with prisoners, they'll deal with we. Now cell leaders know or more, no more yes, and they have come out. And I like the idea of the welcome register. Now, because first the person who said, "What department? We are standalone, and I said we are part of the PM team. I'm the elder in charge of PM. I work with the PM mainly because leaders now. In London, Ghana, there's no leadership for prison ministry. To want to know how we can come in. And then secondly, because we are now, secondly, you say, yes, we like the idea of the welcome, but how do we mirror that with safeguarding? Because the issue, they say, Yamawaha, and we want to welcome, but your kind so krama yum crash especially with Seventh-day Adventists at that prison. The issue mainly sexual crimes. And much as we want to welcome and open our door, we also want to make sure we are safeguarding the church. And advisement now bit in the Amaya.
Thank you. I will start from the last one. Safeguarding. It's one of the most important areas of this ministry. In as much as say a person a year in prison, prisoners are people who know the tricks in the books. Yeah? They know all the tricks before you think he's there. And I'm working closely with the safeguarding lead at the conference. if you decide to sign up to the Welcome Directory, we will support you all the way to make sure we put plans in place, strategic plan in place that will support individual church. We are not going to generalize it, so we will come and sit down with you and strategize. How are we going to protect your church? But saying that, I want to reiterate this. Safeguarding should not only come to your church because of prisoners. As I said before, there are already criminals in your midst. And so safeguarding should be here now. Yeah? Safeguarding should already be here. You don't wait until you start receiving prisoners. Yeah? And your second question was, okay, PM. Prison ministries is standalone, but I'm working hard to get, at the moment, I'm even only a sponsor. I haven't even got a directorate yet, but I'm working to get a directorate. It's a standalone, it's bigger than most of the departments, but Seventh-day Adventists, we don't know it. We don't know. Prison ministry is bigger than women's ministry. It's bigger than men's ministry. It's bigger than communities ministries. It's bigger than even many of the ministries, because you are not only dealing with one group of people. You are dealing with families, you are dealing with people in prison, and you are dealing with people coming out of prison. It is a big area. And communities ministry, when you are dealing with people coming out of prison, it's a community ministry. And so, in effect, you have community ministries involved in the prison ministries. And it's important. I have a hand here, and then I'll come to you. Oh, okay, sorry. I'll come back to you.
That's also for the opportunity for prisons for 18 months as head of healthcare department. Now, Nyawo came and I'm a say, Yasafuno, and said, you need insight was our area home. I think a year ago, Area 6 Women Ministry Ecuadorian TBB and to be so funny be in Yankee, but it didn't appear say or more a person will follow up. Now, she say now they are banned. I don't know, because that is the biggest and only prison for young people. And client said, "Oh my dear, we need home, and I do home." To me, name say we are aware of that. For confidentiality, Buckinghamshire is not far from here. And
these are some of the things I've been passing you. This Thursday, I was in Winchester prison, and I had a long conversation with the managing chaplain there. I'll come to you. The managing chaplain, the way I know Okasano, it felt like Onimumbose Adventists here are Christians. Yeah. Or Catholics, or Anglicans, or Methodists, or Baptists. And I'm saying, where do you put us? Also, the pagans and the Seventh-day Adventists. And I'm saying, oh, really? Do you realize we are part of the Christian group? No, I do. And I'm saying, we use the same Bible. This is the perception people have of us. Because you are not involved. You are not involved. They don't know about Adventism. They don't know. Where you so full, where you chaplain, Anglican chaplain. I'm not talking about an ordinary person. An Anglican chaplain put us with the pagans. And I'm saying, why do you put us with pagans? Because we have nothing in common with pagans. And one irony is the Muslims chaplains are more welcoming to me than the other Christians chaplains. We need to be out there for people to get to know us. And many I just say, we are involved, you have some experience in prison. And you could be a key member in this church. I will be to me a link here to that prison we are talking about. So I would like to talk to you, Yepoa, as a who on a one-to-one basis, now Yakasa. Why?
I think a year ago, you organized it is a music way. You almost accept it. But I think that DBS anyway, no delay in time I end to me. Minim Sebia, a brown church which I know. Betting swam my that I answer now be true on share when you were also with your name.
Yes, prison because of safeguarding issues. Thank you. You don't just go into prison. The whole year, no, Obetimiako as a visitor 3 times in the year. But what person will twice far? You have screening system in place. So that be take about 3 months. It be take it longer. And the more mobile register, more person will go prisons. You be connecting munina to a particular prison near the Mudin corner. You are checking munina. But one thing I always say, so wonya emfa wudimba, but ubetimi aye juma from here. Ubetimi aye welcome directory, but so we go prison hono there. Mestre say emfa wudinka ho because you be call for screening, your checks now it will come out. Enti o betna hanu aye welcome directory hwajuma na omo a eba no wa hwe omo so amai. I'll come to you. Let me see. Is it you first?
You are the pastor Zibibre. No question a young man who has any pastor living in such an asset. You to see pa. Croydon Church will be down for her. Prison visits here. Or time will be come out of prison. So a pastor SETH or a pastor or SETH. I know it's a pastor, be a pastor. Oh, prison the Dumas out and the call. Could you prisoner say, or your sofa? And Mama embracing I near from it. I cried, dear Duman, and your mountain call. The call was whatever.
Open even I am in the pastor, Pastor Boachabet Naha. Also, prison ministry in Count Board, Rebecca Master.
Pastor Medasi, I just wanted to ask a question, extended one to say prisons, can say we can go to prisons and do our evangelism. However, as you said, we've got criminals in this church. We've got convicted. I'm just saying, we potential criminals and convicted criminals probably in this church. And in a way to protect the church and as a safeguard in because if we don't, for instance, these people, because of the crimes they've committed, we tend not to go into what they have done, and we will be vying and giving them positions in the church, which to me, some of them are convicted or criminals in the potential people say. It affects the church in terms of safeguarding. Why do I say this? Almost free prison buying, so almost CBR checks near there. They are not allowed to do certain jobs. Why can't we do the same thing in our churches? They cannot be put in certain positions, but however, as you're saying, they can use the skills to help and guide us also to help other people who are in prisons. Now, as a form of transitioning. I don't know whether that could be an extended part of the Momo
I think, sir, this is the mentality that we have. Do you know there are people in prison who did not commit any crime? Yes. There are people in prison, they are in there because they did not have proper defense. And they ended up in prison serving. The fact of the matter is, people change. You cannot always tag them because they've been in prison, they cannot function. As I said to you, and as Elder said, there's one ex-prisoner who is now a pastor. And in Brazil, an ex-drug cartel lead who is now in charge of AGYARE, and he's a director for prison ministries. The church needs to have a program in place, yes. A program in place that will help, and these people will be talking about their particular crimes in order to facilitate that progression and that development to the point that the church, individuals in the church, or PM minister, a PM leader, or even the pastoral team will have conviction that this person is transformed and can be used in fact, there are many hands. It was her first. Are you talking about this one as well? Okay.
Pamocho, a Christ method. We have positive Christian loving Jesus Christ method. Now, you need negativity free home. Of course, we are in a country laws and rules, as a guardian. The Demia by Ike, and also for Joseph Yakodefias. Now, we are on the jail. Nobu are Kodefias because of mental health problem. And our defias. Nansaram Tako court, the Nipako court. Now, one said, Nipebu Omo Casa, no very adequate, and one got the prison. Or so for Siama, I have said, every leader he is accountable. And yes, will be alpha, let him run, check before you leadership. You boy to the day. I do automate to Maba. Until we check in the church, we also do that. We check that. But my question that I want to ask is, what are some of the challenges? Because we say the whole land only one church. And no, say no land. UK is two. South of England, only two. This is very pathetic. Very pathetic and disheartening. Say, Unim said, the religion increasing or growth by Muslim religion. From prisons, from hospitals, one more increase by the DNA Adventists. Yeah. It's a wake-up call. Now, I want to also ask, what are some of the challenges that you face as you embark on this prisons ministry? There could be some challenges that we need to know.
The first challenge is money. The conference gives me a very small budget. Because just like the local church, the conference doesn't put any importance on prison ministries. London Ghana doesn't have. London Ghana is the biggest tithe payer in the South England Conference. You don't have a budget for prison ministries. And that reflects on the budget I have at the conference. I'll come to you when I finish here, and then I'll come there.
Thank you, Pastor. I don't even know where to start. I'm actually shocked that we've got such a department like this within our conference. I never knew about it. I worked in Rochester Prison as a pharmacist, and there were so many things that I thought I could try and do, but in prison there's that hierarchy, and obviously there are different categories of prison. Where I was Cat C, and even Cat C is not maximum security, but still the security was tight. I know you've talked about, if people don't have good clearance, no, they shouldn't bother to enter this. Now, my concern mainly was the fact that I never knew that there was this department in SEC. Now that this department is there, I also want to make the pastor aware that there are Adventists working in prisons, and they will equally need the support. And they are the tools that we can use most to be able to assess this prison, because they're already there. They know all the system in place and all that. I left my job because I didn't know that, there was anything much that I could do. If I knew this was there, this system was in place to support us working in prison, I probably would have stayed and then, helped to support the church.
I want you to go back. Actually, Rochester Prison, Adventist goes there. We have Adventist group from Chatham who goes to Rochester and Maidstone. So we have a team there. But your presence in the prison would basically help us a great deal. You asked about challenge. The biggest challenge is money. The second challenge is getting access into prisons. Because, like I said before, because we are not known to be involved in this kind of business, when you present yourself in prison and you are talking to the prison manager, the chaplain's managers, they look at you and say, since when did Adventists become interested in this? What is behind this? Do you have any catch? Why now? And so I'm struggling to get access into prisons. But I'm not giving up. God is with me and I'm getting some access. Like in the last few days, I've had 4 prisons inviting me in. And I will continue to do that. I have already established contacts in about 6 prisons. And we have over 95,000 people in prison across the south of UK.
I'm saying, Nidi can and Mr. can say, prison ministries, and every was a free. Pastor said, I shall say, you are. And along the way, but you best remind. Today, I'm about for the whole day now. Which a chetty, a bomb pie said PM no, and the Becca or and she say, now, I could see I can't say, dear, me say, Mecca, you all can. And the person can say the way, I said, also when we talk about safeguarding, I was a more a qua conima baby. Even though say a harry a pia, ye jiwo pia, Yamin is a said pa, Yamin a feed pa, Yamin a sacred pa. But a year so ya dear here. Say a year a year. Sometimes in the conference in the craft free, Ebia, Yame can't trust no, Yan can't be but Omoma Yehu, ya suffer ma, and where ya son them any areas, Omo ya convict to Omo ya risk to the church. Omoma Yehu, ye aware. Because 2017 in the corner. Yenya yedibia a bedroom in about the home. Your friend, you already say no. Your friend Lisa Katre say, ni pass me, penny, Momo opposition, Momo men quada, Momo way. They call us, they tell us, And sometimes in Susono, if you are any sa so if you are master for Yaman, a typical Tranometic committee here, Namobodi Bia, as a Sapasadi we pato. Maybe I won't tear saying tears of for saying peddling to, but maybe I need because of Sanyama we in a coso. It in a better man can say, hey, be out the overfan say pan coy, Baba, or buy and you say, be a Yano, ABS, say, Nissia. My trium wasi, Nayam foul red with dear who because ABA na yenimientia safo no ya in and toso bi CRB checks na ye no eba. E ba na bibi saa e wo so ntina ye hye obi a o ye departmental leader ya fa wo say ye because you see you come so far with that here. Pastor say every 2 years be ye one. Every 2 years be ye yo. Me clear me son e mo medi di one. Ti me sremo me so for church ni na ye kan nyina no so eboa ye say yenye ahwiye nsoso ye boa wo nsoso ne ye so ye ahwiye say ya form ni boni ni na amwaye ye boa wo but ye ahwiye medamos.
Amen. So for you that say Elder, before I'm about I want to ask you a question. Do you know one of the safest countries that we have in the world? Switzerland. It is actually Scandinavia, Norway, Finland. Do you know why? Do you know why they are safest place to be? Because the people of the country are the people who work for the police. What do you say? Say, police will be. It was Finland, Norway. Now within 24 hours, no one knew mine. He's not in the country. Because the neighborhood know, as soon as they see someone strange, the police is aware. So the police don't do the work of investigation. It's the people, the community, for the police. And it's a culture. It's a culture. As soon as they see you in the community, we have someone here. I have not seen this person before. The police is aware you are there, and they will be tracking you. Anything happen in that community, someone reports that something is missing, they know where you are. They will pick you up within the shortest period of time.
It was a formidable. And so last year, one of our members approached me and said, "We begin prison ministries." And or the 2 men na mahwe kwan e be fa so a betimi asema tutu be oni ha. And obi a show interest that our person prison ministry no and also pay bi London Ghana. And I'm saying no one of the members are let me help. Manya kwan officer 2 prisons. Baku wo Holloway and baku for Belmont. Now sir who rain inside gates out for more ube go inside. Now you say hey na me ntimi asama bi mo a enti masa mi sane say say what this had me ba na open safo no hold do emre members special interest no be say because me ka say bibi sie ni so be say ene so for credit hon komo so emre be say say ama members are do be say me mo a between access prisons because me say me kwa omoje me passport we could do her checks the brain and sana why etino pesa boy and a conference how you almost say you say almost show interest and so na mo ben na esa asafuni etu because this is one of the best ministries ebe mrama asapaka now so yen show interest and na mo ben na churches so yetu so obetumi boy ha with us.
Elder Medase, I'll come to you. This is one of the challenges that I have. Members of my prison, I'm a penny, say a bayer, not a sorry, no, and what I'm doing, I go to the church, get the team together, and then I find a prison for them. Yeah. And the Seminya prison or Chinakrampwa, for all of you to be cleared, the members to be cleared, no, it takes about 2 to 3 months. So we clear members also. So we be preaching in prisoner in one of the church services. We hear be a friend of CTC, counter-terrorist clearance. Because of terrorism, they don't want anyone to preach and kind of radicalize people. And you have to get that clearance as well, and also a higher level clearance for you to go through. And as of now, I want them to have clearance. And when you have clearance, when you have normal clearance, now per se, send your work and say, who gate when you show yourself bit me a you bet me a train you to be a key drawer. At least one member of the team will be able to draw a key in the prison. And the Wuko prison will go through security. They said they will go airport security. We will go through a real. We bet me a keys. From there, no, one now be able to now they will group no. Ako, Mako Edemoye, Namwasa Lady Omo, Namwasa P. And that is the process. But so see, many more Bekasa say, Yenya interest, Namihena leadership, this group are strong that can work and do something positive in prisoner. I will find a prison for you, and I will be able to train you, and maybe give the leadership or your pastor the opportunity to shadow the chaplain in prison. So, some opportunity will be there for. My aim, they say, member Adventist ministers, most of the pastors, Ochiname Kent, prison bureau Emily, the Chatham pastor, Munim Pastor Japheth, obviously, Menenoko. I'm going to introduce him into that prison, so the chaplain knows about him. And then the prison knows the Seventh-day Adventist pastor is somewhere there. And sometimes you can tell the chaplains about the Adventist church. And so this is what I'm trying to do. Sebaya, Yensi email out there. And with the conference, a very difficult, but this is why I'm doing all this. Because that's who want me 2 churches. With all this, that's who want me 2 churches. And but by God's grace, I'm doing what I can.
I say, me call one prison beer. Na many suffer born in echo. Na Nipana clerk no catch them say, so your minister there, or here clearance beer. And you only say, Obuku Nawaba. And I know the okay, man said, oh, yeah, 7-day Adventist sitting on you. More DNA different, say other ministers now. Obey to mention one kakra.
So we are Adventist minister now, Okos, Adventist prisoner. I know you can just book and go. But what I'm doing, young Kosra SDF one, and SDF one year person Kosra. The person who go prison ho, Namu Yehumu, what me preaching on the Sunday worship and not Saturday worship. To see I know which. Beirut prison. Your SDF 4 and last Saturday, reporter Minya on my cohono. Omonya nipa 6 abeka omonya SDF 4. Sorry. This is what I'm trying to establish. And kakra because there are people there who want to know. And as Obi Khan said, the Muslims are taking ground big time. Because they are showing care and concern to the people. Prisoners. Now, we better not hold in or betna ho atieno. But where are we? We are not there. And so how will people know you exist or you care? People don't know.
So for me, that's said yourself. Emre bi atwam na London Ghana na ye boy homodin na me kai say me ankasa prison asaf ba bi ni ho akọ prison me nkosra no me nkantumi ho na asa de me nkosra no kwa ma friend no na kasa wa bra na o prison ho no ne ye na me ni abranti bi tie kira e di nkomo say me ti aso da ho the friend me so obi the cells na wa bo mi di ntimi mra and I just took my car and went there. Because no business me be am na am say me be am na tena dey ma am na me ko fi am ka tell say me sra wo kui enkonko dey wa ni bi because yes I frame me e bi na ma second person I frame me say me nkon me kwa also person ko gan na am say mo fa nko afi ko du gan na offer so peace kan na say when I tena ko ma bra na wo be discan I won't do that ye de wo ma me wo so be ko gan na dey a ko na me sign dey ko I feel na bu siska. The message say, you say, be ya you who say, a juma say bit me de aboa. It drew me a beer so for more friends a monko, Namonkosra, O co treasure papa could this Canibiana Pacoya as me ho. A bassa ibu abamu in shin cranny. It is a sebe dear, Mr. Mose, Yentia says sebe, not yintimiye na en so by say. Asaf beb ha wo ye asaf nu tuareka enti se o se na da ade aye na se kasa bi ba na enso ani enhyenkwane a emadwuma no enwipeyo because e ade a we bitunu se ahu esi wo so beye but o ko animu yi no na emwa enti mestre pa se ye ya even ye kasa credit ka kire wo mo a etum ho si ho no ye nhwini yi isan say it me essay e be brave with the most.
Pastor Pacho, media ni ya mwa. Pacho, about 2 years to me, and I could go to your church, women ministry. Na omo ye prison programs. Na my sister na ye leader of district. In time biano, so omoko prisons no aframe e hiawo ampa me so kakra me wo me de boa ebi wo ho so omu hie ntade intimitimi ya door to door na me de akoma wo to no mo de akoma prisoners no eto de bi o say omoko ye yesi ehia ye pedoko eni sardine ebi wo pe red Intini nyina oka kire me a na me so memu a na me de aka ho enti October ni mu omobo esu e wo prison ho omobo nipa 22 na 3 a ewo mu de na kire se omo de prison officers ne se nkrofo we de nya ade ombesisa na nso nyame adom omobo 3 ne kan inti sa 22 no omokusua aboa chese busumi bia no na wotwe bia no ema ni bi kop kanya mesem last week no mo frame me no mo ka kire me se omkoye no abranti ye baako onenam ho a okono omo ye Bible studies into ohwa no ba betena ho bi into omo wie ye no eno se opom chew omo hia ohia ntade ampa so ti oye okachira be nam so me kura ma ye bi last month enti ye nche ebeba bedu eno mso okay enti om betwen enti omo wie adesua no enipa 6 ye last week omo nso so ombebo asu enti me dwe ho a me hu se sa prison ministry no ho no chese je nkrofo ba chese wo ye nya souls from there enti se ye yire ya ho di dwumadi ne kɔ hɔ a ne aboa wo mo a
yɛbɛnya akra bebree yɛn nuanom ne yɛn ma ne yɛbusua ne wɔ hɔ sɛ tɔ da bi na obi firi prison ba ne yɛsuro no deɛ nti a yɛsuro no sɛ ɔba a ɔmbɛnya adwuma papa bi a ɛnyɛ ɔne nam hɔ a ɔbɛba bɛyɛ western nanso sɛ yɛkɔ hɔ ne yɛkɔyi nyame dɔ ne kyerɛ wɔn mu a na ɔmo ba ne yɛpɛ dwumadie bi ma wɔn mu a ɔmo nso yɛnkɔ saa tebeɛ no mpo yɛbusua mu obi akɔda prison aba yɛ ne yɛbu ne sɛ wɔyɛ kwaseampani yɛmmoa no nanso sɛ yɛfa kristo dɔ no a ne yɛde boa saafoɔ no a menyi ni sɛ ɔmo ho bɛyɛ hu a yɛbɛsuro wɔn enti seesei no nhyehyɛeɛ a yɛayɛ ɛne sɛ seesei baabi sɛ yɛbɛyi wɔn ho a yɛbɛgye wɔn details na obi wɔ hɔ a yɛyi no ɔmpɛ sɛ ɔbɛkɔ ne kurom nanso ɔmo sɛ ɔmo hu baako na ɔyɛ kaya yo ɛna ɔmo busa no saa dɛ na ɔnkɔ ne kurom ɔsɛ ne kurom deɛ ɔnkɔ nti saafoɔ no nyinaa no sɛ ɔmo mpɛ sɛ ɔmo kɔ no sɛ yɛboa wɔn na ɔmo nya ɔmo nsa ano adwuma bi a menyi ni sɛ ɔmo nso ɔmbɛyɛ dɛ ɔmbɛsan akɔyɛ bɔne foforɔ bi nti saa dwumadie yi obiara ɛbɛyɛ me dɛ sɛ nka obiara de ne ho bɛhyɛ mu ɛfiri sɛ yɛde yɛn ho hyɛ mu ɛbɛboa yɛn ne yɛbusua ne asafo no ne yɛ community amen
amen ɛnyɛ mo mma a moawowɔ mo asɔre no mu na mobɔ wɔn asu moakɔbɔ obi foforɔ asu na asɔre no sɛ brighton asɔre ɔmo asiesie asɔre dɛm hɔ no ɔmo ɛklini hɔ yɛ biribiara no ɔmo yɛ prisoners a ɔmo aba out ɔmo nyɛ adwuma nyɛ nti asɔre no yɛde saa adwuma no ama ɔmo yɛtua ɔmo ka na ɔtwe biara mo bɛsiesie hɔ ma yɛ kama homeda ɔmo aba asɔre bɛtena hɔ yɛhwɛ ɔmo yɛboa ɔmo ɛsɛ baako sɛ memmoa no na mempɛ lɔya ma no na ne case ɛda n'anim ɔntumi hwɛ ɛho asɛm no ka yes ɔno ahu sɛ wayɛ mistake wayɛ mfomsoɔ wakɔyɛ deɛ ɛsɛ sɛ ɔyɛ enti sɛ asɔre no ɔhu sɛ asɔre no adwen ne ho yɛama n'adwuma ɛwɔ asɔre dɛm yɛagye no adi yɛde safoɔ ama no sɛ wɔmmra asɔre dɛm ɛmmɛsiesie hɔ na wɔtwe biara ɛyɛ big responsibility me ne tena asɛ meka kyerɛ sɛ this is a big responsibility I'm giving you don't mess it up because you mess it up and that's it for you ɔse ɔsɔfo I will not mess it up it's okay ɔse ɔsɔfo I will not mess it up I will do my very best because I want you to trust me again a pathfinder name. And there are so many things. On my mohano, a bit difficult saying Ghana name as for your go Brazil, you go 29 years. But on my mohano, untimin preaching Adventist, who go praising her. Untimin kawas or a you are preaching Christ. But who preaching Christ? Now what you know, Yesu dona a shawanoa, Opia Obeshow. And that is how it works. I'm saying, you're the basic. You're a vampire. Now, Obia, we're interested in prison ministries. No, the pacho, but now I say, you're true, you did now, you're a fire, you're a faso, let me have one, my Judy and Apostle. Also, for pacho vampire.
You are software and son on behalf of London Ghana Church, the pastoral team and the church body, the second Papa. I'm saying the Wabe, so about Faso, my Yina, so about Faso, and say, do not know about Betinaha. And get church board members, church board members, be free, because. Your board meetings, but over so true dinner come show dinner quickly na munina yes support to prisons and make case na me woni board na pastor in people about quite mature and me could be ready prisons na young guy me am koto no Kobo be car, no Mura car, no, it took cards who be a car in the chain on. Your board Coco, you must say, Prince, I say, man, I'm said 3 years. Now you're calling now catching, and some are catchers or say, on your color but the entire one be pure say, oh, honey, mammy, oh, honey, papa. And Tina's street in now, at it in all tears on them street in another cobble voice into a more color and would DHB and a cobble affition or call you. Tita say, prison teacher, I say, you were full who I say, Nima, mean, papa, na mano, about be prison. So, your Kalani be young guys be home prison, sir. Or me innocent, but society now. Jesus say, I dear Bakoy, waiting am I heaven, and say, if a show one on the fierce. Tiradim wire, I intimate with time. So for Yamisha, you say a tear suffer be my besaba. Now am I more Yamisha. I don't know, meaning patrol, and then say, okay, my and sorry, there. Young best man, the break could not feel more pie and ye fire program. It does remember and mammy at one. Okay, one name is summary to the term. Yantonia Edikan, because you need him sitting. Oh, name go. Oh, name, only rejoice, rejoice. A sumri dura, a sumri. One name, oh, name, se boafo sa, se na arechiche to kwa, che. Mobrofu wafu mo fo one mentra sutrasi na yemo pai men say ne de mu nyina ubai saudi shedi be free hako bon pai bi ma o say rade no mu na wotwi mu no o ma ne yeso kokra ma Kawasi Michel Paukno Moire Mubabi Madame Fubi Uneba me and share this. Obompa Yesu Kaya Safu Yesu Yankwa anymore when I'm some come. Iradi bema ye kwa to se bedi akra do bompai ni bi ma wo so se iradi wo so ma wo kwa modin wo enshra on found on travel in your tree. A proud old pie bonny by me, I mean, so it was so many moby and so on. I don't want more room for me. Yet I was so no dear between. Yet I was so sure no country. Yet I was so mobile. Yet I was so I don't so could be out done it in what cavalry. Yet I was so very sure a brand ye done. Yet I was so deep in the moment. Yet I was so that so teach and send it. Now would my name. Yet I was say baby beso obeba be fire free amani hono asase so. Yet I was say baby pa ye no amu so
na wayi owu ne yaredɔm ne abɛbrɛsɛ nyinaa afiri hɔ until sɛ yɛbɛsa kapsa bɔhyɛ kɛseɛ te sɛ yi mesrɛ sɛ bɛdom yɛ ɛnyɛ w'anim hintaeɛ woyɛ mmɔbɔ wɔ yɛ honhom akwantuo yi mu ma adom no nyɛ kɛseɛ wɔ yɛn so na wɔtwe yi mu ma no nyɛ soronko nti yɛmfiri bɛtuwo yaredɔm amanneɛ ne atete biara mu na ne mesrɛ paa ne sɛ honhom kwankyerɛfo pa di yɛnim na wɔtwe yi mu na ɛkyerɛw tumi sɛnea wɔbɛtie nti onyame ma yɛn nyinaa nsa nkɔ Onyankopɔn dɔ Yesu Kristo adom no Honhom Kronkron ayɛ ɔnkɔfa no ɛne yɛn ntena mfiri nnɛ kɔsi daa asafo no nka sɛ amen amen onyame nhyira mo church board member srɛ mo nhyɛ so na mo a mpɛ sɛ moregister no so monya mmra ha pastor atwa no
Please,